Oh, hola amigos. It's been a while since I've rapped to you. This is Esmeralda. She's not going to stick around. Just thought I'd feature a Zune in a class about Zunes. She is a pretty amazing specimen, this one. I call her the ultimate catting machine. If there's catting to be done, she's the one you want to call on. Anyway, I gotta set a timer on this. So, part of the problem here is that I've been putting off doing this particular video. I actually did it mid-semester, and I gotta say I nailed it. But the card got lost somewheres, and I can't catch lightning in a bottle. I've tried several times to get it, and I just haven't been able to make it happen. I mean, I think some of it is a little bit of what I need to get into here is a little bit metaphysical, a little bit of just sort of personal opinion. It's tricky stuff. It's not just a straight ahead lecture. You'll see. So, part of the point of this course. Look who's sticking around and trying to eat a bunch of flowers over here to off to the side that you can't see. Easy. Is part of the point of this class was trying to get to asking and answering what I'll term bigger questions, and I found the online environment very challenging for that. But the questions they're profound and they're motivating. I think they need to be widely discussed. So I'm hopefully going to bring that into focus tonight. The proverbial big questions are ones that you can't really do a good job of asking until you've figured out, and I think you understand, what in the world actually matters. And at different times in one's life, different things matter. The things that matter to us when we're 5 or 6 years old probably don't matter as much to us now. I mean, some things are continual, right? Familial associations, perhaps. But there are a lot of other things that are sort of in the periphery, and how much they matter changes to us over time. So it becomes a question of what consistently matters and should matter. If you understand that, you can get to ask the right questions and then possibly get to some answers. And so, does it matter to be a good person? And I'll put good in quotes there. I think most people, if you came up and stuffed a camera in their face, they'd say, oh yeah, it matters to be a good person, with no real strings attached to what good is. And then you could even say, are you trying to be a good person? And people say yes. I mean, a lot of people will. And so, you know, what guidance do we have about what being a good person is? And a lot of it's pretty trite, but it sort of boils down to what's been referred to as the golden rule, which, you know, is do unto others as you would have done unto you, right? And that's good in as far as it goes, but the question where this course intersects with this question is on the issue of how you define others. We don't have much trouble saying that most of us would not want to be treated like a battery hen, for example. But is a battery hen within the realm of others, as contemplated by the question or by the statement, do unto others as you would have done unto you? I mean, are we only sort of obligated to be decent to others who are exactly like us, right? Am I only obligated to be decent in my behavior towards sort of, you know, hardcore atheist, small forward type guys who have, more noteworthy for their tenacious defense, unselfishness with the rock, and consistent rebounding than they are for their admittedly anemic shooting, which is pretty much not worth much for more than mid-range, right? Or do I have a duty to be decent towards a larger group, right? And when pushed, most people, I think, would expand the circle out to most all other types of people, right? And we're conditioned to say that. But some explicitly would exclude the non-human animals, the Zuns, or would mouth platitudes about their humane treatment. But in most cases, people's economic activity belies any assertions they have about believing in humane treatment, because most people participate in the consumption of animals that weren't raised under good conditions. But then the question becomes, how would we determine who fits into the others category? Now, Bentham said, right, the question is, can they suffer? And there was a quote inside the Spiegel reading from The Dreaded Comparison, and I was wondering if anybody would find it. I don't think anybody pointed it out, but it's that Haley quote from the Secrecy chapter, and it boils down to, you cannot justify the unjustifiable, the smashing of the weak by the powerful. For my money, that's where it's at, right? I don't believe that anybody can justify the smashing of the weak by the powerful. If someone's trying to do that, I'm pretty confident that they're wrong. I would also say, consider for a moment, even if you're not a Christian, even if you don't follow the teachings of the Christ, even if you don't follow those teachings because they're his teachings, but let's just say, for the sake of argument, let's just take them for what they are as words, right? And I'm going to go to Matthew, the book of Matthew and the Sermon on the Mount, and paraphrasing very briefly, there's, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be fulfilled. Right? Blessed are the merciful, for they shall be shown mercy. Blessed are the peacemakers, so they will be called the children of God. Again, I paraphrase there. That's only part of it, and I'm taking it out of order slightly. But is there really any better statement of how people should be living? And if you're eating the flesh of a dead Zun, the world is a more violent place than if you're not. The powerful have smashed the weak, and you're not by any measure being a peacemaker at that point. And let's not even worry about the Zuns for a minute. Let's worry about everyone. The misery and discomfort of others is easy to overlook if you yourself are not beset by those problems. You may or may not have seen some of the poorest places on earth firsthand. And if you haven't, indulge me for a minute, because I have, and not as a tourist. One can argue, you could posit the argument that we don't have an overpopulation problem. But if there's any number of people who are hungry in the world, don't we need to stop everything and see to it that their hunger is taken care of? I mean, maybe before we go adding more people, particularly more people who are going to be underfed, undersheltered, clothed only in rags. To the people who are starving, I doubt that it much matters if they're without food because of reasons of human corruption or scarcity due to exceeding the productive limits of the land, or because of man-made war. Hunger is hunger. And addressing problems like that, those are some of the bigger questions. And I don't live in a world where the scope is just on the Zuns. I see a bigger picture, and I see it all related to each other. Tolerating people starving to death is the same mentality as tolerating Zuns are living in horrible, abject conditions. It's just the fact that I'm not the one who's in trouble that makes it okay, really. I asked at the beginning what matters, and I need to do this in 9-minute blocks because it's easy to upload to YouTube that way, so I'm going to come back to you guys starting from going back to the beginning and asking what matters.